you hadn't heard of them yet, meet your new favorite financial partner. Buckeye State Credit Union is a local institution offering everything from checking accounts to home equity lines of credit and auto loans with some of the lowest rates in Northeast Ohio. The Cleveland branch is in Shaker Heights, which is one of 5 locations across the state, making it super easy to find one near you. And if you can't get to a branch, no problem. They make banking super simple through digital banking. What sets them apart? They make banking personal and convenient. At Buckeye, their focus is you. Their core values, connect, simply, adapt, guide everything that they do. They bring people together, they cut through the clutter, and they're innovative. To learn more, visit buckeyecu.org. Buckeye State Credit Union, your money simplified.
All right, guys, let's talk a little Cavs. Later in the show, we're going to recap all the free agency chaos that's happening right now. We got Danny Cunningham coming on later. But we're going to start with the most pressing news out of the Cleveland Cavaliers world right now, and that is the fact that Ty Jerome is no longer a member of the Cavs. He signed a 3-year, $28 million deal with the Memphis Grizzlies yesterday. When you look at that deal compared to Sam Merrill's deal, Merrill got 4 years, Jerome got 3. Merrill got $38 million, Ty got $28, which puts an annual average value at Merrill's contract at $9.5 million per year. Ty Jerome's at $9.3 million per year. In a million years, when the regular season ended, I never would have anticipated this outcome, where Merrill got more years, more overall money, and a higher annual average value than Ty Jerome. But that is the world we are currently living in. Ty, I said Ty, I was thinking Ty Jerome, but how big of a loss is Ty Jerome for this Cavaliers team? And with the pieces they've brought in, can they make up that production lost by Ty?
What pieces they brought in?
Lonzo and Proctor really are the two that you have that you didn't have previously.
See, what's wrong with him? Anyways, the way I look at it is this. I think that they value, clearly the NBA is about shooting threes. And if you got a knockdown shooter, which Sam Merrill took strides this year. I mean, I know we always criticize him for defense, but it was times, not this season, but last season, where he would just completely disappear. And this year, he was a guy that consistently came in and hit those big-time shots in those big spots. So I think that they value that. Ty Jerome, he was a spark plug. I wonder how much of it also is he didn't want to re-sign with Cleveland. You know, maybe he wanted to go elsewhere as well. But the Ty Jerome in the playoff thing really just kind of showed lights. You know, in the biggest moments, you know, we couldn't depend on you. You know, there was at times where we couldn't even really put you in the game. And I think that that's why this team is thinking about, we got to get away from that. We got to find guys that we know at worst can do something. It can't just be the Donovan show. We have to get people that can come in and help and at least give us something. And I think Ty Jerome not doing that in this playoffs cost him a lot of money. I don't think the relationship with the Cavs or anything like that, I don't think that's soured or anything like that. I just think that maybe he wanted a fresh start. You know, you go to Memphis, you know, they just traded Desmond Bane. You know, maybe he can work his way into being a 2-guard maybe, but he'll get a lot of playing time. John Morant can't stop doing gun animation, so he might get suspended. He might be the start guard there. So I think that factored into it as well, but I think he maybe just wanted a new scenery. And I think that Memphis is a great place for that, but I never thought that Sam Merrill would get more money than him. I thought that Ty Jerome was more of a more complete basketball player than Sam Merrill. So that one did confuse me.
G, I got a bunch of thoughts. Can I go first? And then I want you to answer.
Go ahead, bro. Don't steal my thought.
Well, I have a couple ideas before we get to the issue with the Cavs bench now.
Okay, don't go there. I know he's going to steal it.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, so I think when I look at this whole situation in the big picture.
He's a Cavs apologist.
No. I know go ahead. I already know. I got the crystal ball.
A hypothesis. I don't know if this is just speculation. A hypothesis. Complete hypothesis, not reporting. I have, my gut tells me that the Cavs, with all things being equal, would have preferred to keep Ty Jerome over Sam Merrill, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All things being equal. I think, and I'm guessing, I'm speculating, that the Cavs went to Ty Jerome with the same offer they gave Sam Merrill and said, Ty, 4 for 38, 9.5 average annual value. This is what we think we can afford to pay. This is what Dan's willing to pay in the tax. Take it or leave it. And Ty may have said, I get more than that. The mid-tax
It's a strong possibility.
The non-taxpayer mid-level exception is $14 million. I'm getting one of those contracts. Mm-hmm. Thank you, but no thank you. When he said no, the Cavs then pivoted, gave Sam that kind of contract, made the Lonzo Ball trade. The Lonzo Ball trade came first, then the Sam Merrill contract.
Put the ball down.
And Ty thought on the open market in free agency, he'd be able to get a deal along those lines, higher than $10 million a year. And then as we've seen, as this free agent market's played out, that middle class doesn't exist anymore. We see dudes getting big contracts, and we see dudes getting contracts for $10 million and less. And Ty thought he'd be in that bigger contract pool, when in reality his market, and I guessed wrong, I texted y'all, I thought he was going to get 13 to 16. After seeing the Sam contract, he ends up at 9.3. And I think if the Cavs, and if Ty, more specifically Ty, had known, hey, my market ain't going to be what I think it's going to be, he would have taken that initial deal. Because it's more money, it's more guaranteed money, and it's a higher average. It wasn't even a shorter deal we can get out of it. It's more.
So now that it's chalk, how do you feel about it?
I want you to go first because I got some thoughts on the bench now.
Okay.
Did I take your point?
No, but that was a really good one. That was good. That was good. That was good.
I can see a world where that definitely probably could have happened.
I went back. I don't know why I did research for this show. Maybe because I don't know what for. Like I don't know why this research.
Because that's what. Wait a minute. Because that's what Steve pays us to do.
Right. I don't know why I did research at this level for this, but something told me to go back, so I went back.
Yeah, man.
And I remember Kenny Atkinson when they talked about Ty Jerome, and every time Ty Jerome would ball, Kenny Atkinson wasn't. At some point, he was never like, that's Ty. What are you talking about? He's nice. He's dead nice. Like, he's been doing this. Like, that's his game. He kept talking about, the floater thing. And at one point, he was making 60-some% of his floaters. And
called him Steph?
Yeah, like, how is he, like, he walks into these big shots, comes off the bench, like, and Kenny's kind of like, yeah, like, you kind of sit there and you're just like, wow, I didn't, he didn't expect none of that. Problem is this, man. I never saw the commitment level to it, right? And I looked at it, and when they got rid of Imani Bates, right, guess what I thought? I said, oh.
That clip did numbers, by the way.
Oh, it did?
It did.
Oh, okay, here's what happened. Y'all like people who play in structure. See, from a basketball standpoint, that looked good. Ty Jerome, that looked great. Like, I'm up here, I'm picking and rolling. But guess what? If that's not falling, you're in trouble. Imani Bates, I think he can play. He hit 7, 8, 10 threes in a row. But if that's not falling, what we doing? And on top of it, if you look at everybody else on the court, and you look at the difference between Sam Merrill and why he got the bag, is because Sam Merrill plays the structure. You ain't never going to ask, what the heck was that? Or, that was a bad shot, Sam. And then when he tried to elevate his defense, it was like, that ain't even a crazy mismatch no more because he playing hard defensively. They said, you know what? We can't change our teams that big on the, in terms of the core four. But on the margins, if we got this little pool of money, Sam Merrill is the best of both worlds. He may not be the playmaker that Ty Jerome is that can work off the pick and roll and do those things. He may not be 6'9" and can shoot, from half court and be a tough shot maker off the dribble. But guess what? I know where he's going to be. He plays hard defensively. He can still knock down threes. He's the mid version of both of those guys. So then you say, okay, you get rid of Isaac Okoro, who is a non-shooter. And then you can bring in a ball handler like Lonzo Ball that covers up for Sam Merrill's deficiencies. Now we got a guy who's athletic, that can dribble and do those things that Sam doesn't do. I think the Cavs value people who play in structure because two of their best players play out of structure.
There's some validity to that. But pull up the Cavs depth chart real quick, 272. When you look at their depth chart now, basically, you got your point guards, you got Darius, you got Lonzo, you got Craig Porter Jr. The shooting guard position, Donovan, Merrill, Proctor, Hunter, Strus, Tyson, Mobley, Wade, and Allen's your ones. And it doesn't include the two-ways. They have Travers and Naquan Tomlinson on the two-ways. outside of Donovan and Darius, how many of those guys are really creators for not only themselves but for others at this point? You could say Lonzo when healthy.
Yeah.
But it's a giant when healthy. He's averaged 17 and a half games
Who
per game or
creates for
season.
themselves?
And others. Outside of that.
Well,
That's the one
nobody's
reason-
creating for others.
Donovan can do it.
DeAndre Hunter
Outside of
give
Donovan and
himself.
Darius.
Yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
on the bench. And that's part of the reason.
Oh, on the bench.
On the bench.
Yeah.
And that's
Nobody.
part of the reason why I thought if in a vacuum it was all equal, it was a no-brainer Ty over Sam because he gave you an element of something off the bench that you just really don't have. I mean, maybe you move Hunter to the starting lineup and Strus becomes your primary bench creator, but like that's not Strus' strength. He's best at coming off. Lonzo can do that if healthy. But once again, he's played 70 games total in the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's
He
wild.
could be healthy. He may not be healthy. I said yesterday I want the Cavs to utilize him like the Thunder utilized Alex Caruso in the regular season. Don't play him in back-to-backs. Play him about half the games, which gives you the other half of the games where maybe your best bench creator now isn't active because he needs to be healthy for the playoffs. Jerome gave the Cavs, and to your point, G, he doesn't necessarily play in system. Like, he was a freelance guy. But how many times last year did we come in the next day after a game and say, the Cavs don't win that game without Ty Jerome
That's a fact.
because he went crazy.
That's a
and I
fact.
like Sam Merrill a lot. Like, Sam's my guy. I think of all the guys in the Cavs, like, me and Sam, we sat down, did a one-on-one interview. We said I kind of look like him.
Y'all got the same haircut,
yeah.
like everything.
How many times have we came in and say the Cavs won that game because Sam Merrill went crazy? Like, Sam's a good player
Maybe
in a
once.
system,
Maybe
but Ty had a chance to change games in a way I just don't think Sam does. And when you look at that contract they gave Sam, and good for Sam Merrill. He's now the highest paid 60th overall pick in the history of the NBA. Well-deserved. Congratulations.
How you feel about that, G?
What's that? He's getting $9.5 million. The Bucks just signed Gary Trent to a 2-year, $7.5 million deal.
That's wild.
Is Sam Merrill on a per-year basis 3 times
The
better
Bucks
than Gary
re-signed
Trent?
Gary Trent?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years, 7.5. Maybe the Cavs miscalculated a little bit of how much a player like Sam Merrill, an in-structure shooter kind of guy, gets. If that's the deal for Gary Trent, listen, I'm happy for Sam. I don't think it's a bad deal. Anything under $10 million for a role player is kind of the going rate. But if Gary Trent's getting 3.75 and Sam's getting 9.3, maybe that money could have been used better elsewhere. I don't know. I'm
Let
just,
me ask
just
you this
asking the
question.
question.
You be around. You know a lot of scouts and dudes that be in the league and stuff. How much of it, when you're trying to sign somebody or you're re-signing somebody or giving a contract, is if either A, the coach, or the GM says, that's my guy?
A lot of it.
I think more than any other league in basketball.
But Ty Jerome was a Kobe Altman guy.
I know.
Kobe tried to trade up for him in the draft and draft him when he came out. He tried to trade for him previously in his career.
Is he a Kenny guy?
Wasn't he with Kenny with
Ty was with Kenny and Golden State.
Is he? For me, I watch sometimes I watch the body language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, he don't like Max Strus. Kenny loves him. Kenny's like, oh no. We got Hunter, but we still started Max Strus. He loves him.
You ain't gonna never let that go.
No, I'm still not.
I think Hunter starts this year.
Oh well, hopefully Kenny's.
Well, I mean, the Ty Jerome, him and Ty off the bench is gone. So
that's
you
a
might
wrap.
as well.
So you might as well shout out to. Hey, listen, I know Hunter.
They all gonna be gone anyway. 'Cause
Hey,
they're trading for LeBron.
Hunter, I know you. Listen, you crying inside right now.
That happened.
Hunter is crying
And
inside
that's the
right
other
now.
thing. Ty had his best friend here too. Like they traded for his guy midseason.
Hey, listen, call me. I got over the Imani Bates thing. Call me.
First of all,
you know what I'm saying. If you need me, talk to somebody. 'Cause
Well, if what Mike said is true,
And I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I'm just saying.
speculating.
If hypothetically speaking, if what Mike said is true, if they offered him that contract and he said no, if I'm Hunter, that's your fault.
I mean, listen, if that's his man's, he probably went to him like, "Hey, what you think I should do?"
Because he should have been like, bro, I'm here. Why would you not take it?
So the other thing with that too, and it's worth pointing out that if
And he need to fire his agent because his agent should have told him.
that's part of it. But if my scenario is true, you got to remember that they signed Sam before the actual free agency period started. They re-signed Sam, which means in my hypothetical scenario, they may have offered Ty before that, which would have been before free agency. You could have illegal contact. Tampering with other teams is not supposed to happen before.
Yeah.
We all know it does. So I'm not sure what information Ty and his people were getting beforehand. But clearly, they just miscalculated the market in some way, shape,
And clearly, they need to be fired.
Why, man, bro, here's what I'm going to do, man. This is negotiate. I might listen. Before I go tell these people over here this is what the bag I want, before I go tell them, I need that contract. I need my lawyer to look over that. I need that everything. I need that in ink that this is what you're going to offer me in case I say I'm not doing it over here. Yeah. Now, this is the crazy part about it. I've always said it's already easy to get a job when you got a job.
Yeah.
Like for Ty Jerome, he should have been like, well, let me look at this offer. How much if they was giving him the Sam Merrill bag, he has to look at it and say, okay, look, this may be a little lower than what I thought. But I need to take this and take a screenshot of this and figure out who's offering out here more than this.
The one thing with the Memphis deal, it is a year shorter, which means he could hit free agency a year sooner. So maybe he cashes out again if he can stay healthy and play like it. But the last thing I want to point out, because I know we got to get to the next topic here, Ant. Pull up the Cavs depth chart one more time with the bench. The Cavs banked a ton on internal development last season, right? They didn't make a major move. They kept the core four together. They ended up trading for Hunter. For the Cavs bench this year, you're banking on Craig Porter Jr. taking a legitimate step forward because, once again, I don't think you can count on Lonzo as an 82-game player. You're projecting Sam Merrill to add something to his game. He'll always be primarily a spot-up shooter, but add some sort of off-ball creation. You're banking on the internal development to bring in a Tyrese Proctor and have him ready to play a second-round pick to contribute at least something. You're banking on Jalen Tyson taking steps forward. If all those things happen, Cavs have a pretty darn good bench. But it's a lot of if those things happen that all have to align that makes their bench go from a superpower last year to an uncertainty entering this upcoming season.
They need some more moves.
They do.
They need some more moves. I don't want y'all to get confused. I know y'all got Okoro. Dean Wade, he's posted up, on the block. We need some more moves right there. That, to me, that's nice.
Minimowski.
That ain't. I'm not comfortable going to next year like that.